Hi, this is May and
And Maya.
ta-da of the Late Night Girl Chat. This is the week where Kat is off doing her secret mission stuff. So it's just the two of us. And today we have another amazing intimate story to share with you. I actually only know a little bit about this and not a lot. So we'll see how this will unfold. But let's just start by saying that we are Late Night Girl Chat. Kat, May, and Maya we're creating this community and this channels to bring healthy, wholesome conversation around sex, love, and relationship to the world. We started this project for the developing countries like Vietnam, Azerbaijan, Sri Lanka, but now it's starting to spread. So we're really excited to be here talking real with you around sex, love, and relationship. And if you like our work, please support us by sharing the broadcast out to your friends or to your circles and on your walls, on your social media. We can be found on YouTube, soon Instagram, Facebook for sure. And here we are. All right. So let's get
Yay.
on with it. Hi, honey.
Hi.
Today we have a really special thing because Maya is actually with me in the van. Some of you may know I am playing with the van life where Keith, my partner, and we live most of our time in this beautiful van and we move around the country to explore different places. And I kidnapped my daughter for a week, and so she's been with us. Today's her last day. After this, she's gonna leave me. I'm gonna miss you so much.
Yep, time to go home.
Time to
Take
go
a
home.
shower. This
That's
is the
right.
best we got right now.
3 days, 4 days of no shower. Yes,
Yes.
but we have to share. The view is worth it, right? How do I flip the camera?
Uh,
Oh, oh,
don't
oh!
try to.
Don't
You're
try
gonna
it.
end something.
I'm gonna end.
Just turn it like that.
Okay, all right. Gotta give you a sneak peek. I don't know if you can see. Am I on the camera side? I hope. Can you see the little? I don't even know what you're seeing out there. Put in the comments so we know what you're seeing out there. All right. So onward with this beautiful conversation of talking about. Go ahead. You're gonna have to start talking about this.
Um, I guess talking about breakups. So
Mm,
much fun. Such a good topic.
yeah.
Which I'm surprised when you said you haven't heard that much about it because I feel like I've told this story so many times. So now, like telling it again, I, I'm like, it's just so repetitive, and I'm like, okay, so where do
Well,
I
give us
start
a
again?
background.
Okay, so I dated my boyfriend for you can stay in it. I dated my boyfriend for pretty much over 2 years. We started out in high school, and it was a really good relationship. We were really happy together. He treated me really well. Um, just like a background on the relationship, it was the relationship that all my friends strived to have, right? So anytime they had issues with their boyfriends or whatever, they'd always go to me and be like, "Well, what does he do? Like what does my boyfriend do? Like would he ever do that or what does he think?" And they would always just ask me like for advice because they're like, "Cuz your relationship, I want that. Like I want what you have. Like he treats you so well and he loves you so much and we can all see it." Like they would, oh my gosh, they would tell me that they would hang out with us, like me and my boyfriend, and then they would go home and they would cry because they would just like longed for that so much and they couldn't figure out, like how to get that and stuff. And like I felt bad, but I was like, wow, like I really, I have something special and I knew that. But then the whole time I've always known that, especially being this young, I'm only 19, I wasn't going to be with the same person for a long time. Like, this isn't a permanent thing. And I always knew that. And I was straight up and I was honest with them from the very start. I was always like, hey, like, we're just going to take it, one step at a time, see how it goes. But just know that, like, I'm not committed to a whole life with you, even though it sounds so crazy because I'm a teenager. You would think that, like, why would you even be talking about that? Why would you be talking about the future? But I know so many people my age who are in a relationship and they're like, no, he's really the one. Like, we're gonna have a life together and we're gonna, like, this is it. Like, this is the one for me. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what? We can't even rent a car and drive it yet. And you want to think about having kids and like getting married and all that stuff. So it was a conversation we had to have.
But Maya, that's what a lot of the people in the world, that's how they do it. I mean, you hear that in a lot of adult conversation where people would brag about how, you know, yeah, I met my husband when I was 16 and da, da. In fact,
See,
your
that's
grandmother,
no,
your
that's
nana met her, your I
mhm,
forget, Pops. Your Nana met Pops
mhm.
when she was 16, and then they got married at 18,
Yeah, see, that's a
and they
red
had four
flag.
kids that they lived happily ever after, and they lived for like 50 something years, and then he passed away, and that was her only love. So that is the romantic stories that has
The high
been
school
sold
sweetheart,
out there. Yeah, there
everyone
you
wants
go.
that.
Hmm.
But to me, I'm like, I do not want that. I don't take any high school relationship seriously. I'm like, no, there's no like, it's just not gonna work out. Like, we'll play the game and we'll bet on how many years. We'll give you a certain amount of years based on how we see the relationship. We're like, yeah, I'd say we'll say 3 years and then divorce, right? Like and then it's spot on. Like we know, but yeah. So where was I?
So you had this great boyfriend. Everybody
Right.
longed for the same boyfriend, and I can vouch for that. Even my best friend, who is in her 40s, was envious of your relationship. And okay,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
okay,
Yeah. So, but we had the conversation. And I was like, just so you know, I'm gonna be on my own eventually. I can't, no matter how close we are, how much we love each other, whatever. Like I'm gonna need my freedom because like when I grew up, it's probably just because you're my mother. I
don't
didn't
blame it on me. No.
I didn't grow up like having marriage and all that as my goal in life. Like I feel like a lot of people that's what they see themselves in what 10 years or something. They're like, yeah, like I'm gonna be married, I'm gonna have my soulmate, I'm gonna have that one person, and like I don't see it like that. I'm like, no, I'm gonna be successful, I'm gonna be traveling, I'm gonna have multiple guys, I'm gonna have all this fun. Like that's what I see, and like I don't see getting married as something to check off my list. Like it's like, okay, if it
That's the
happens,
ultimate
maybe.
goal for you.
Yeah, it's not.
Something's wrong with you, child.
I know. Anyway, so I've always wanted to have my freedom, especially while I'm young. I'm like, this is my prime time. I need my freedom and I just want to explore and I want to find out about myself and like I don't want to be tied down. So
Mm.
he's always known that. And but the thing was is we were like, okay, well I guess we'll just go off to college and that'll be it. Like it'll be a natural break for us, right? But then COVID happened and then we didn't transfer and now we're stuck here. Not really stuck, but it's just everything is slowing down. And now I'm like,
And then it's like at least you two have each other, so you're not so lonely. There's a lot of people
yeah,
in COVID get so lonely, so then it's a bad time to break up then. It's
yeah,
never a good time to break
it's
up.
never a good time to go. But yeah, I thought about it. I was like,
Oh shit.
yeah, because there's two sides of it. It was really nice having that one person where it's like, at least you still have something normal, right? Like
Mm,
COVID is just so like messing everything up, but at least you still have one person that you can rely on. You can still whatever. And it was really nice and comforting. But at the same time, it was like it's getting boring, the same routine, like yeah. And so it was just
couldn't you just buy lingerie?
no. Trust me, we tried that route. But that's a whole nother conversation I feel like we
Oh.
could have. But yeah, I was just starting to feel I was like it might be the end. I don't know. But that was like my gut feeling, and then in my head I'm like, why would I do that? Like there's nothing wrong with us. Like there's no solid reason to really break up. Like I was almost like, could he just cheat on me already just so I could like
Mm,
get it over with? Like I'd rather be upset with him than me have to make the adult decision and then live with it
mm.
and maybe regret it and just be stressed over it.
Well, hang on a second. You just said something really important because there are a lot of adults like old adults can't, they are done with the relationship but they can't get out of the relationship, and it's too scary to do the adult thing,
Mm-hmm.
so one person has to cheat or does something horrible
Exactly.
so that you give an excuse, a valid excuse to quit the relationship. So don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, speaking to that, like, I was getting the urge to fly the nest. I was
Mm.
like, I think it's time. Like, I want other attention. Like, I
To
want
experience other
exactly. I
people
want
and
more than this. And I was like, I can't. I don't want to hurt him. I don't want anything bad to happen. Like, I'd rather end this. It might be painful in the moment, but I'd rather have it be a healthy end than me go and mess it up and then really hurt him and ruin his view of relationships from then on. So I was like, shit, I can't wait for a sign anymore. I just got to make the decision. So I was like, okay, now is the time. And I spent a whole week. We were on a break for a week, and that was actually his decision. And I was like, I think this is his. He doesn't know that this is his sign giving me, but he's giving me the sign that it's okay and that it's time. So I took that whole week. I cried the whole week. I thought
Mhm.
about it. I was sad, like, and during it, I was just imagining, I'm like, this is what it's gonna be like when we're broken up. This is what it's gonna be like to not have him. And I was like, oh, like I went through the pain. And then finally, I just got it all out. And so then the day we talked again, which was a week later, he was like, yeah, so I'm good now, like I'm ready. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm on the other side. I think I'm ready to break up. And I
Oh.
was like,
So wait, he took a week off so that he can be refreshed and come back
right,
in for more, and you took a week off and you're like,
to
okay,
prepare myself.
yeah.
Yeah. And I was kind of, I don't know what I was hoping from him, but I was like, ooh, yeah, we're not really on the same page. Like, I think it's time for me to
Mm.
separate. And of course, he was really sad about it. Like, he didn't want to, like, lose me, but at the same time, like, he knew it was coming. And two, this is how he's such a good person. Because um, he's like, what matters most is just that I'm happy. Like, that's what would make him happy,
Mm.
right? So he's like, oh my God, no. He was like,
Yes, it's okay.
I hate doing that. Okay. He was just like, um, no matter how sad or how hard it is for him to not be with me all the time, it would be worse for him to like force me to stay with him and know that I'm not following what I wanted to do originally because of him,
Mm.
if that makes sense. So he was like, he knows it's right for me, and even though it's painful for him, he was like, I still feel better and I still feel happy that you get to be happy and do what you want. And I was like,
Oh,
and then,
isn't there a voice inside you that said, "Oh my God, how could I give
yes,
up such a great guy?
every single
Will
day.
anyone love me and care for me like that ever again?"
There's definitely that voice, but honestly, I was raised being told that there's always something better, never settle, like, and everywhere I go, I'll find somewhere something that is better, and I'll always be loved, and I never have to worry about that, which I think that's a huge thing that people aren't told. That, like, people don't know that, where it's like you will always have, I don't know how to say it. You know how to say
Well,
it.
I'm still hang up on the word better because I don't want
Oh,
to
okay.
imply that, you know, we're moving up
Right.
and leaving someone behind, even though that could feel that way.
Hmm.
But I really do believe that it's not about better, but it's about what do you want to experience next?
Right.
What is next for your highest good and your highest growth? And yes, he's an amazing guy. I like him a lot, and he makes me feel safe, and he's adorable, and he's cute and all this stuff too, you know. And at the same time, the thought of as your mom watching you just staying with one person and only create this small
Yeah.
little box that you guys have created. While I know that life is about experience and about growing, and when you experience other people, other experiences, you're going to experience more about yourself. So it's really more about gaining access to more of you.
Yeah.
So it's not that you're leaving him because there's someone better for you out there, but
Mhm.
you're leaving because you want to experience more of yourself,
Right.
how you love, how you have sex, how you think, how you have conversations. So, how do we do that? I mean, really, the bigger question for humanity is how do we maintain love and still have the growth and the freedom to be more of who we are? So, how can he still be in your life and you can still be experiencing whatever it is that you want to experience?
Yeah.
It could be more men, more women, more them, they,
Mhm.
whatever,
Mhm.
right? Um, so, right now, I think for humans, we tend to couple up and then try to make a go of it for the rest of our life. And it has not worked. That strategy has not worked for anyone. But we keep trying,
Yeah.
and parents keep telling their kids, we keep doing marriages and all this stuff only to end up in divorce or cheating or dying of the human spirit inside. So
Right.
it's a really tough conversation. It's there isn't a straight answer in this where you're
Well,
at.
I like to think of relationships and not just like a romantic one, even friendships and stuff. Like every relationship has something for you to learn, some lesson for you to have. So it's unrealistic to think that one relationship, one person is going to be perfect, right? It's going to teach you everything. It's going to have everything there for you. That's why being with one person is just so it just doesn't work. So to me, how I think of it is pretty much what you said. Like each person that you're with, each person that you experience something with is there to teach you something. So like this one was like my first like true love and like one like this one taught me like unconditional love and like
Mm.
um and being safe and supported and just loved so much like
Love the door and chill.
yeah, I know and all my friends would always say like they were just like like he would do anything for you like everyone can see it
Mm.
and they don't even hang out with us that much they're just like he is just so he just cares for you so much. He's so in love with you. Like he would die for you. Like, he would
Mm.
do anything. And I'm like, yeah. And then they would always say, and he loves you more than you love him. And I'm like, well, let's not make it a competition or anything. But yeah, and that's honestly, it's a good feeling to have where you're like, it doesn't mean I don't love him or I didn't. It was just the feeling that you're so just taken care of and just so like,
Yeah, so that's another weird part too. Because I've seen how you guys love each other. He definitely take care of you on different ways, and you definitely love him in other ways.
right.
So there isn't a he loves you more than you
Yeah.
love him. It's he loves you differently, and you love him differently. But again, in human relationships, we tend to do that crazy thing. So I have so many questions. Like, how did you create such a great relationship with this guy? Is it because of him, or is it because of how you were being? And then also, like, how did you say goodbye, and how did you hold each other and support each other in this goodbye so that it's a good goodbye instead of a shitty goodbye where somebody has to feel bad? And is it really goodbye? Is he completely gone? Is he still in your
Okay,
picture? And
one
then
question at a
I
time
know
because I'm
so
like,
many
ding,
questions.
ding,
I
ding,
say
ding.
ding ding ding.
Okay, one, how did I find this?
How did you create it?
Because even in my head, I'm like, holy shit, like, how am I gonna find that again? And oh my god, that's just that fear running in your head. But I don't know. I met him in high school, which, first of all, I just think it's crazy that I met such a cool person and, like, so mature and just so able to be, I don't know if I'd say quite at my level, but you know what I mean. Like,
Hmm.
at such a young age and in high school, and, like, um, I don't know, I was just attracted to
I do.
him. And I was very impressed that because I always think that boys are like dogs and you kind of have to train them a little bit on how you
It's
want to be
true.
treated, which I don't know if they would appreciate. being, compared to a dog, but it's true. Like they take some training and like
No, wait, hold on. So
okay,
there's that too,
uh-oh.
right? So I actually teach my women this concept that men are like dogs. They do need a good trainer, and that doesn't mean that it's an abused dog. Dog in America is honored as a family member,
Mm-hmm.
are well loved and cared for. And if you spell dog backward,
God.
there you go. So that's the level of respect and love that we have toward our men. It's just that we can't let the dogs run us.
Mm-hmm.
We're the owner of the dog, so we have to be good owners. You have to have a certain bar, certain treatment that you train your men to treat you. So I really do think that out of all the boys that you had engaged with and as friends and all that stuff, first of all, you're a good selector. You chose someone with heart. He didn't have money. You chose heart. So there it is a difference. And and then also how you be in the relationship with him help him raise up to how he should treat
Mm-hmm.
you. He can be a real boy to all the other people, and you've seen that. You've seen how he behaved with his buddies. You've seen, like, they can do immature stuff, but with you, you expect a certain level
That's
of
yeah.
maturity and a certain level of treatment, and that's how come he showed up for that. That is something that is not just about finding, it's about cultivating and about how you be, and that's how you brought it. So if you know how to cultivate it, you can cultivate it with just about anyone that you're with. First of all, you're going to select the next guy or the next girl or the next whoever well, and then you are also are how you be train them to treat you the way you want to be treated. So it's not just an
That's a
accident.
yeah. Uh, and kind of that was kind of like a tiny epiphany for me where I was kind of like, oh, I guess you're right. Like just seeing because I always thought that he was just naturally like he was such a gentleman, he treated me really well, and I was like, how do you know to do all these things? Because most guys are just like, yeah, no, whatever. But at the same time, now I do look at like how he is with his other friends and how and I'm just like, oh, but when he's with me, he knows the standard is high, he knows where the boundaries are, he knows how to act and how to treat me. Like it's completely different. Like he's such a different person, and I'm like,
And this is something that women don't get out there. You don't get that you're the one that set, as women, we're the one that sets the bar for the relationship.
mm-hmm.
Not the men. Men look to us
Right,
like, how do we want it? And when we have low self-esteem, when we don't stand in our own power, when we don't know what we want, we get the dogs crazy. We get the men crazy. And there's a lot of men that are so frustrated after being around women that they're like, I don't know what she wants. They're pissed and blah, 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 right?
yeah,
Did
yeah.
that just did
Yeah,
something
did it
just
just
come to
ring a
mind?
bell? No,
What just happened?
no, no. I was just thinking of someone.
Yeah, exactly. See, you can see like men get frustrated because the person that they're with is running them
Mm-hmm.
into the ground, going crazy around that. So that's how you create a great relationship. Yes, he came with a good heart and sincerity, but you knew how to work with him because of how you are with yourself and what you are tolerating and
Yeah,
accepting.
yeah,
So that's it. So
yeah.
now, next question.
Next question.
How is it over? Is the
Oh,
relationship?
was the next question like what? How was the breakup?
Yeah, how did you do the breakup so that both of you were honored and held instead of feeling shitty about and hurt? What did you do when each other get hurt
Like in general, or just in that breakup,
in
like
the
that
breakup?
day? Uh,
Well, it's not just one day, right? It led up to it. I mean, it took you like a year to break up.
yeah, it did. Cause I was feeling like the feeling of breaking up for about a year, and and I could tell because I kept telling my friends. I was like, yeah, like it's really great, but at the same time, like, eh. And then when I finally broke up with them, they're all like, well, I mean, yeah, you've been talking about this for over a year. I'm not surprised. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, we saw this coming. What are you talking about? I'm like, okay. Um, but yeah, when we did break up, it wasn't. No one was hurt. No one was upset. I mean, he's always been really good at listening and just being there for me and supporting me and just really hearing what I have to say. And then on my end, I tried my best to make him feel appreciated and still loved and not like I was just dumping him there, like, I'm done with you, like, you're not useful to me anymore. Like, I was like, no, like, you've taught me so much, like, I appreciate everything and we've both grown together so much. And you know, so I tried my best to really make him feel appreciated
And honored.
and honored and important, like just because we're not together doesn't mean that I don't think you're important and that I don't want you, um
I'm laughing because I just flashed to all of our vacation um, with our friends, the wolves, and then to San Diego. And at the end of every vacation,
oh
I made you all sit there and say, "What did you appreciate about each other, about
yeah.
yourself on this trip?" And you all rolled your eyes. You're like, "Oh God, there she goes again,
It's a good
making it."
practice though.
But you had to practice, so now you know to do it at the end of this relationship or during the relationship,
Yeah.
even. That's awesome. Point for mommy.
Yeah, so that was good. um
and and then I also remember, like, you said that you held each other a lot to cry together. You express how you feel instead of shutting down to
mhm.
each other. Even now,
Yeah,
still. Yeah.
no, I mean, during the whole thing, like, we were super honest about everything. We described how we felt, and then we would just sit there in silence and just, but we were perfectly comfortable. We just were spending, you know, the time together, and then yeah,
I feel so much love just imagining the two of you. Like, I feel like even especially during that breakup time, there was even more love instead of
yeah,
less love. So that's a clue, like if you're in truly in love, in the state of love, that you feel love the beginning, the middle, and at the end. And especially at the end, when things gets hard, when it's painful to say goodbye, yet you're still filled with love for each other. That's real love.
hmm
The rest is just romantic
yeah.
sugar.
And the thing about that is, like, we've talked about this before, but after the breakup, now that we're not together, we don't see each other as much. Obviously, we need the space and stuff, but I almost feel like we have more love and appreciation for each other now that we're not together, because there's no expectations of, like, having to, like, be
Be a certain
affectionate
way.
and
Yeah.
loving each other and stuff. Now it's just like we really just appreciate each other for who we are and being there, and our relationship, whatever it is now as friends.
Now you're real. You're
Yeah,
even more real.
now it's real. Now we choose to love each other because we want to, because we do, not just because we're together so we have to, you
Mm.
know. Um
Oh, so it seems like the the friendship is maturing.
mhm.
Yeah, into a lifetime friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And he said he's very supportive, like I said before, but he said, because every once in a while he asks me, he's like, so, like, are you gonna start talking to other people yet? And I'm like, no, I still need some time, whatever. But he said, if you don't go out there and explore and do what you wanted to do in the first place, he's like, I'm gonna be very upset, because we went through this whole thing, we ended such a great thing so that we both could grow, so that you could experience that. So if you don't do that, if you don't do what you wanted to do and be happy, I'm gonna be pissed. And I'm like, that, like, it was kind of a sarcastically funny way of him just,
Yeah,
supporting me.
encouraging
And
you to
yeah,
fly
and
and
yeah,
giving you
just
permission to
exactly
do.
giving me
Yeah,
permission that I need permission, but like making it
yeah,
feel okay, that, like, it's okay, you can,
yeah.
which
That's so sweet.
it's been such a big relief to me because this whole time I was like, I just feel guilty, just for some reason, But now that he's expressed that, I'm like, you're right. Like, this is why we went through all of this in our relationship and this breakup so that I can do that. And that's the whole reason. So I shouldn't feel so, I don't even know what I was feeling.
Guilty,
Guilty,
shame.
scared, all of that about doing that because that was the whole purpose.
And isn't that weird how you have such a great guy and who's understanding everything, and yet inside your head you still like feel like, oh, I shouldn't be honest. I couldn't be, I don't want to hurt his feeling. That kind of behavior for women is so toxic and detrimental when we hold ourselves back and not be real to whoever that we're with, um, afraid that he would be hurt or sad or whatever.
Mhm.
That is bullshit. Don't do that. That's like that kills your own spirit, and it kills the any friendship, any realness, any maturity that's possible between two people. Ah, so loving. Is there anything else you want to share?
Um, I don't know. Do you have any more questions?
I feel like there's something.
I feel like there's something.
Yeah, I feel like there's something too. So let me try if this is something. As I'm listening to you share your story, I see how beautiful it is and how authentic and how deserving. Like you deserve him and he deserve you. Like this is how humans should treat each other. It's not just a Maya and her boyfriend story, but this should not be a rare occasion.
Yeah.
This should be how it is between
And
people.
this is why it makes me so sad that it seems so hard to achieve and like everyone strives for it, but it's just like, why is it so difficult? And I just wish that everyone could experience the same thing and be able to go through a breakup like that and feel the same things and all the highs and lows and all that. So
Well, but I think they haven't had enough modeling, and I think that part of why I'm so we both are so excited to capture these moments for you. And what I really love, Maya, is if you would think about, sharing your new experiences with other people so that you can um share with us how to get
the
started.
journey, the process.
Right? How do you start?
Even though I'm still figuring out, I don't even know how to start.
Well, you're doing a fine job, honey. And I also, we also catch you um in our conversation of like where you hold back, where you're like, oh, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
tell him that yet.
yeah.
Why not? Speak.
Because I'm
Yeah.
like, even though I had such a great experience and everything, it's still very real and I'm still very human and I still have it's the same kind of drawbacks, the same, like, I'm not perfect. I don't do everything
Oh,
great and I don't know what I'm doing exactly. So it's an interesting
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So, next step for people. So, if you're watching this and this conversation touched your heart, please leave us a comment. Tell us what it is that touches you about this conversation.
Or if you have any other
Or if you have
questions.
yes. And again, my public announcement. We choose to be public about these conversations. We choose to be real and raw about it because we want to create a healthy and wholesome place for people around the world to talk about sex, love, and relationship. So we ask this for the same. We ask you to honor the space. When you send us comments, please make it respectable. This is not a free place for you to watch me or Maya and jerk off behind the scene. That's not acceptable. Well, if you do, great, good for you.
Just
Please
don't tell us.
don't tell us. We don't
Don't
want to know.
announce it.
Yes, and also, please don't pursue us. We don't want to be pursued. If you have real questions, please write and put in the comments, and we would be happy to have more conversation to share what we know, what we are living through, to help all of us create wholesome and healthy relationship with each other. If you are a woman and would like to be part of a community of other women around the world, join our LNGC Facebook group. It stands for
Late Night Girl Chat. Facebook group.
try again.
Late Night Girl Chat.
Yes. So join. Right now we are not accepting men in that group because we want to keep a safe space for women to talk freely about these things and not be pursued or distracted by that. But if you are a man and you have serious conversation and serious questions about relationship, and you need some help, happy to talk with you about that on
Yeah.
the side. Okay, enough for that. So this is late night. This is May Vu, relationship expert, and my daughter,
Maia.
Vu Minute, third degree black belt. Don't mess with her. She'll kick your butt. Um, and we are, and our third partner, Kat. She is the community leader for the Ungirl group, UNGIRL,
Mm-hmm.
Ungirl. You can find her on Instagram, TikTok,
Facebook.
Facebook. She's doing some amazing stuff, rolling out some really great courses also. So join us on every Friday. We try to broadcast on every Friday so that we bring you some delicious conversation. Have a
Hope you
wonderful
like
day. Have
it.
a great weekend. If you're out there dating, good luck. Ciao.
Bye.